Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. Jiren was the introduction of an interesting character, or should I say idea, that there could be a mortal who is stronger than a god. Jiren's character was heavily criticized by some for the lack of being a charismatic antagonist. He was either loved for his impressive unmatched power, or hated since his personality seemed to lack the depth that a main character would have for our heroes to defeat. I think that many of us wanted a different, more intricate backstory that was original for someone rumored to be the strongest mortal, instead of one that closely mimicked Batman. Jiren is a character that was supposed to have no equal, and as Whis says, the rumors appear to be true. There is a universe where lives a mortal that even a god of destruction can't defeat. So what lies ahead for the strongest mortal? What situation coming up in either the manga or anime will they write for Jiren and Goku to meet again, to pick up where the last episode dialogue ended on? I think regardless of the backstory and what transpired at the tournament, one thing is certain. Jiren is a fan favorite for many of us, so in this video, let's discuss the unlimited potential and just when and where we could potentially see the strongest mortal meet Goku again in Dragon Ball Super. At the end of the last Dragon Ball Super episode, as Jiren was staring up at the stars, he was approached by Toppo for an important conversation. Jiren stated, "In the end, Son Goku said he wanted to see me again, but because I have lived my life bound by my past, I can't form connections with anyone." Toppo asked if Jiren has always been such a coward. "In the final battle, you tried to answer all of our hopes when you stood up again. Don't you think a connection was formed between us for the first time?" A shocked Jiren realizes that there has been a shift in his beliefs and what he is fighting for now. As Toppo reconfirms their new bond, he states, "Next time we meet them, we won't lose again." Jiren, with a new resolve, agrees, "Next time I will win. I will be seeing you, Son Goku." A fitting end to the series, and yet again we have another character who was greatly influenced by Goku to have a change of heart. Jiren wasn't evil, but misguided and was confined to living a solitary life because he felt that only absolute power matters, so you can't rely on anyone. Now that Jiren has been shown a new way to live and is forming newfound bonds and even perhaps friends for the first time with the Pride Troopers, where does Jiren go from here? Is he finally at ease from the past, and what story can be written to really fill in some unanswered questions about his backstory? How can Goku and Jiren meet again? Will a scenario happen where they become allies and need each other's help? Or will we be treated to something similar to what we got with Hit coming to Universe 7 to fight Goku, where Goku saw that the best way to become stronger was to have a rematch with the legendary assassin with his life on the line? I think at the very least when the anime returns, we have an episode where Jiren is walking up to Goku again and they prepare for an epic rematch to see how far each fighter has come. Especially since we got some very solid clues as to how Goku feels about the situation. Typical Goku tells Jiren during his goodbye that even though they just finished fighting, he still hasn't had enough. He feels that they got stronger together by fighting, so he wants to see him again. Which is why I mentioned the Hit situation where we had a few episodes of their rematch. With Jiren being such a fan favorite because he exemplifies power, it would only make sense that when the anime returns, they do pay tribute to Jiren and pick up where they left off for at least a few episodes. I am sure Goku could get Whis to make some sort of arrangement again, and maybe this time, Goku goes to Universe 11 and ends up helping the Pride Troopers with a mission, then gets his rematch with Jiren. The reason why I mention this as something that is very possible is because we don't know how the anime will get started again, since the Broly movie took place after the Tournament of Power. So the question is, does the anime go right into the Galactic Patrol arc that is currently going on in the manga, which is a massive arc that has been ongoing for over a year with the main villain Moro? Or do we get another movie and some fan service first that will segue into that arc? With how big the Moro arc is and the story progression it has, I can't imagine that the anime would leave out that arc and decide to go in a different direction. Since fans have a love for powerful characters, this love eventually gave us the Broly movie, making him canon and giving us a new backstory to incorporate Broly into the Super timeline. So an idea that I have is, why not kick off the anime again with a powerful character? We can pick up right where we left off and perhaps even give Jiren's backstory some love and answer the questions of who really killed his parents. Who is this demon and where did he come from? The vagueness of Jiren's origins leave it wide open to go back and write in a compelling story for the fans that really connects us with the character, something that I feel was missing in the anime. We never really got to know Jiren. He was just this unimaginably powerful force for our heroes to defeat, kinda like the legendary Saiyan Broly in the first movie. Not much of an actual story until they rebooted Broly, giving the character depth in a new movie. If this is a movie, and for the anime could be something like a quick 8 to 10 episodes if they wanted to retell it to kickstart the series off again. I would have this taking place before the Moro arc in the manga because I believe that this would be a great action-packed adventure to get things going and a huge box office draw to what we saw with Broly. What better way to start the anime back up for its return, and this would lead us perfectly into the story following the manga, which would give us plenty of episodes in the future. I actually would take a page out of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime and call it the Universal Conflict. One thing about Heroes is they are good with fan service and involving all the characters into the story, which is something at times the anime can struggle with. There is so much for the anime to explore when it comes back, and I think these arcs need to not solely be taking place in Universe 7. There are 12 universes in Dragon Ball, and the ones that were erased that we don't know much about, so it's time to explore them with the future stories and movies. Maybe I will do a poll, and if this video idea has some interest to it, would you like me to write a Universal Conflict movie story that has Jiren in it and goes into detail his origins and Goku and Vegeta end up visiting Universe 11? If it gets enough votes and comments, I will spend some time coming up with something original. Speaking of polls, I did one recently in a video on Ultra Instinct Gogeta vs Moro, and asked everyone if they would prefer to see Gogeta take down a main villain again, or see Goku and Vegeta as a team defeat this enemy. To my surprise, it was a very lopsided vote of 82% stating they'd rather not have Gogeta be a go-to again, which is something I agree with, but I thought there would be more fans wanting to see the possibility of Ultra Instinct Gogeta. Well, I guess that is also what we have Heroes for anyways, and when it comes to the anime, having a much better story involving the main characters instead of a fusion seems like the story most of us want. If you have been reading the manga and following everything there, it is possible that Moro or this arc segues into something that is more on the Universal Conflict level, since that is the type of threat level you need now with these villains. It opens up the opportunity to involve different universes and those fan favorite characters into the story. One thing about Moro is he is a truly interesting villain that can't be defeated by power alone, an enemy that the toughest fighters wouldn't be able to defeat because of his magic. Even Broly and Jiren would likely fall to Moro just as Goku and Vegeta did, unless they can counter this magic. So these are the types of villains and stories I think we will see as the anime returns. I don't think the Broly movie ended the way it did to never utilize this character again, just like I feel that the anime ended with them hinting that Jiren and Goku will meet again, that together they can fight again to become stronger. Or maybe there is a universal threat, a common enemy to Jiren and our heroes. A demon that killed Jiren's parents all those years ago and now has his eyes set on destruction across the multiverse. Of course, with the sound of something like that, it would seem like this would be a final arc or one that is further down the road. Although we did get Zamasu very early in Super, who managed to kill all the gods. I think Zamasu was a villain that was too early in the show because it did create this feeling of what next. Zamasu was a villain so powerful they needed Zeno to erase him. Now with characters like Jiren who have unlimited potential and power that rivals the gods, I don't think that they will write him off and forget about him. Our heroes will find powerful allies like Jiren and maybe even Broly useful as the story continues. What adventure lies next in the upcoming movie or when the anime returns? How do you think Goku and Jiren will meet again? Will they give us some filler episodes similar to when Hit visited Universe 7, or have they hinted at something much more? Perhaps a Universal Conflict movie? Again, I will leave a poll in this video to see what everyone's thoughts are and if you want me to explore on this Universal Conflict movie. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. Also, please subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.